Mate, let's just begin with the negotiations and the authority that Prime Minister may or may not have. Does she have much left?
It doesn't feel like it. I think obviously her base is quite weak. I think we in the markets are hoping for some form of soft Brexit where there can be some sort of forward path on bilateral agreements between the EU and the UK. It just doesn't feel like that's going to happen. It feels like that's a bit too optimistic.
Yeah, as we've said, hope is not a strategy. We're hoping for that, a soft Brexit, but it's a hard way to see how you get from here to there right now, Bob. And for example, take the issue Matt Miller just identified, the treatment of European citizens in the UK. How can they agree to something to stay in the common market?
I'm not sure how they can agree to that, because that was one of the tenets that Brexit was based on, was to harden up the borders again and things like that. So I think when you try to engineer a soft Brexit, what can you actually trade on that? I don't know that you can trade anything, and I think the EU is actually moving away on its own path, and one of the things we're seeing is trying to build a base to move banking to the continent.
Is there one point of potential leverage, and that is simply money, euros or pounds in this instance, in the sense that the UK has contributed a lot to the European budget? They need that money to keep going, don't they? So could they pay their way out of this problem?
I suppose that's a possibility, right? Some form of a revenue share on businesses that are cross-border, I guess some form of tax. Those things are possible. We don't know how receptive the UK government will be to something like that.
Bob, you do currencies, you do commodities, you do fixed income, as the title said, right? What do you do with sterling? What do you do with gilts? How sensitive are they going to be to headlines?
I think they're going to be very sensitive. I think initially there was the downdraft, and then there was a bit of recovery, and everyone talked about sterling had gone through the classic adjustment, and that should lead to more consumption and things like that. And I think now as that's fading and you start to look at property prices, certainly in London, and then see how that's extending out, I think it's concerning.